It's time for today's Northern Ag TV. Well, this week down in Nashville, Tennessee is the 2026 National Cattlemen's Beef Association Cattle Convention. While at the convention, producers were able to hear an outlook from CattleFax on what's to come in this year's cattle market. Now, of course, the USDA did just release the biannual cattle inventory report, which did provide a lot of insight, but there still are a few factors producers need to keep an eye on. While down at the convention, our network's Andy Schwab was able to reach out and visit with Randy Blach from CattleFax, who shared just how much that biannual cattle inventory report has factored the marketplace just here this week.
Well, numbers are obviously at historically lows. I mean, we are at low numbers in here, no doubt about it. The expansion phase has been very slow. We are seeing a little bit of expansion in some areas. You were looking at beef cow slaughter down 30% in this last 2 years, and beef cow slaughter by itself with where it was in 2025 would have suggested that the nation's cow herd was actually starting to see a small increase. But nonetheless, we're still talking about very, very slow expansion at best, if it is in fact occurring.
Now, Randy provided a recap for what the industry saw last year and stated that a big factor for these fed cattle prices is coming from the fact that the borders are still closed and we're not seeing any Mexican cattle imports. This has left packers to start reducing their slaughter schedules, and Randy did mention that if the border does still stay closed, we could see packers even shut down a few more plants this year. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll come back with more from Randy Blach in CattleFax after a word from today's sponsor.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
During this week's National Cattlemen's Beef Association CattleCon, our network's Andy Schwab was able to visit with Randy Blach from CattleFax, who provided an update on where the industry is headed in 2026. A big question that Andy asked Randy is if we're going to see this year-over-year price increase from 2024 to 25 and now into 26, or are these cattle prices going to start catching some resistance?
I think there probably is not. And I think if we look at this last year, we had fed cattle prices at a $50 range this last year. Think about the change depending on when you're selling cattle in here and what that could look like from a return standpoint. So if you can move the fed cattle prices $500 or $600 a head, you can certainly move feeder cattle prices. These are big numbers, and again, we're at unprecedented price levels. Part of that has been artificially supported. This is not all supply and demand based on the way trade normally would work. So that would be my caution to producers out there. Make sure that we're carrying some LRP or some put options or something. Make sure we've got some of the risk laid off in here to where we aren't fully exposed.
Randy did note that volatility will remain high in this marketplace and had a tip to share with producers.
Well, I think that's what we want to stay out of panic mode. Panic mode is not a good mode to be in because we don't make good decisions. We can make clear decisions in these kind of times as we're going through. Again, I would just say these are unprecedented levels, and what we're trying to do is just extend them out. We don't have to get it all. We're just trying to extend that profit cycle that we're in out another year. And that's what the opportunities with these risk management tools we have today that we can do. So I would encourage producers to explore those, what may or may not work for them, or forward contracting opportunities, whatever the case may be.
Well, that's going to wrap up today's Northern Ag TV. I'm Colton Young.